Hi everybody, welcome to Dandelion Cottage and the 12 Days of Christmas. Today is day 6 and I'm Leslie Watkins. So I hope you had a great weekend. I've been really busy getting lots of little surprises ready for my team and also for an upcoming event I have. It's actually a fundraiser for a community garden in my town. So I've been very busy and kind of getting into the Christmas spirit. And so today I'm going to share with you a cute box idea using the poinsettia petal die set and the stamps. But first I thought I'd show you some of the things I've been making. So here are the treats, some of the treats for the people who are coming to the, zoom you in, to the fundraiser. Isn't that sweet? So this is a little chocolate holder. All right, so there's a Ghirardelli chocolate tucked in there, and I used the oh, I forgot the name of this die set, but it's the one I just used yesterday with the chickadee and the pine cones, and just a little ribbon and a little embellishment. But look how cute that is, and when I look at this basket, it looks like green beans to me. And then I also have these goodies. So you may remember this adorable little gnome home with the cute surprise inside. If you didn't see this, you can go back and catch this video. This is very, very sweet. It holds 2 chocolates this time, but there's a surprise inside. If you want to see that surprise, you'll have to go back and watch that video. And then I have a little secret present for some of my team members. All right, we're going to be doing a Christmas party coming up later this in December. And then these are the packages for my watercolor card club. So this is a monthly club that we paint a different subject matter each month. So in November we did autumn leaves, and in December we're going to do holly. And actually I'm going to have a special bonus in December, and not only are we going to paint holly, but I'm also going to show you how to paint a chickadee, so that's going to be a lot of fun. So I thought I would share those little odds and ends with you. Okay, so for today we're going to be doing a lot of die cutting. And I have all of these supplies to hand. So to begin with, I'm going to be using this set, which is poinsettia petals. And this is actually a really big stamp set. There are 18 stamps in here. That's quite a lot. And these are just tiny on the cover. They're at 65%. So you can see on the inside you get quite a few, and they're very, very pretty. Not only are there poinsettias in here, but you also have your holly, you have some berries, and you have some wonderful sentiments. And there is a Merry Christmas in here that I think is just beautifully, beautifully done. So that I'm probably going to use that today at some point. And then I have some gold ribbon. This is the shimmer ribbon. I'm going to list all of the supplies that I used today below after I do the live video, and they will all be available at my online store. So if you'd like to recreate any of the projects that you see me make, just go below into the description and click on supplies, and it will take you right to a page that contains all of the supplies for that specific project. And you can select and choose from there. And if you need more information, here's my website. That's dandelioncottagedesign.com. And if you go there and subscribe to my monthly newsletter called Notes from Dandelion Cottage, you will get all of the upcoming listings for that month's events and classes. And actually today is the end of the month, so the new issue is coming out tomorrow, and I'm going to have a special bonus for everybody who signs up. So if you I posted a little chickadee that I painted not too long ago, and I got so many responses from it. People just fell in love with the little chickadee. And so I thought what I would do is a quick video showing you how you can paint a little chickadee. And you can access that video for free when you subscribe to Notes from Dandelion Cottage. So, so go to this address and subscribe to Notes. I'll also post a link below after the video that will bring you right there. Okay, so then I have some gold glitter enamel dots and an assortment of paper. Now let me just check my computer to make sure this is working okay. So this is the box we're going to be using today. This is a mini pizza box in gold, and this makes box making super easy. You don't have to have any skills. You don't have to have ever made a box before to know how to make one with one of these, and they're really cute. So that's going to be our base. And then I've got some paper here. This is very vanilla. This color cardstock is called Cherry Cobbler, and I just have some scraps. And then I have a piece of designer series paper, and this is from the 'Tis the Season pack. And this is a pack of Christmas paper that has designs on both sides in all kinds of reds and greens. And they're really pretty. And you get 48 sheets to a pack, so that's huge. There's a lot in there. So I selected this one. I really like this one, and I thought that it went nicely with the Cherry Cobbler. And then I have these are the dies that coordinate with the poinsettia petals, okay? So here you can see you have a selection of flowers. You also have a separate die that actually embosses the paper cutout. So what I mean by that is that it actually puts a texture, indentation where the veins are. So you get an even more lifelike effect. And in this die set actually are these berry sprigs. We're going to be using some of those today. I have to go get the gold foil for that. I forgot to take that out. And finally, last but not least, I have a collection of square dies. Now, in addition to the special dies that coordinate with all of the stamp sets, not every single stamp set, but many of them, there are also some very basic die shapes. So you can get rectangles, squares, circles, and ovals. And because the mini pizza box is a square shape, I pulled out my square dies, and I have these plain ones that just cut out a simple square. I have the stitched squares, so these cut out a square with a little stitching detail around the edge. And then I have the layering squares scalloped, and these cut out a little scalloped edge. So we're going to be using some of those. We'll see which ones as we go along. And the last thing I want to show you is the star of the show, which is the Stampin' Cut and Emboss machine. So this is not an electric machine. This is a manually operated machine. It's got a crank that turns the gears for the bed to go from side to side. And what it does is it exerts a lot of pressure onto the dies, causing them to cut out the paper. And if you do not have one of these, you might want to think about getting yourself one as a special Christmas present. Or if you have an avid paper crafter in your life that you'd like to get one of these for Christmas, this would make a fantastic gift, and I guarantee you they will love it. So to get started, I'm going to hold my pizza box here and just see which size. I want that size. And I'm going to cut this in the Very Vanilla. There's my cardstock. There's my die. I'm going to put this a little bit at an angle that makes it go through the machine a little bit easier. And there is our perfect little shape. So I'll show you that again in a minute. Now I've got my DSP here. DSP meaning designer series paper. And I'm going to select another die. This time, let's see how this stacks up. I think that'll work. This is one of the stitched stitch squares. That's good. Okay. All right, so I always say I think I'm done with something, and then I'm not, so I'm hesitant to say I'm done with something, but I think that for the moment I'm done with the square dies. So next I'm going to cut out my poinsettias. And before I do that, I want to show you a trick. Not a trick, a tip. I should call it a tip. So with these dies, you have these two pieces, and they go together very specifically. But sometimes when you separate them, you get them unaligned, and you don't know exactly how they go back together again, and then you have to fuss around with them to make them fit perfectly. So what I'm going to do is I'm taking a Sharpie marker here, and I'm just going to put a mark just like that across both of the dies, oh, that's not staying on there, but hopefully it'll last for a little bit. So that way I know that they go back together like that. I'm going to do the same thing with all three of these. Get that lined up. And while I have the marker in my hand, I'm going to go ahead and do the holly leaves too, even though I don't think I'm going to be using those today. It just helps to save a couple of minutes. There we go. Okay. Take this one out. I'll put these back. We're not going to be using those today. And I also have these little tiny ones for the center of the flowers. I think we're going to use those as well. All right, now let me just grab some of my gold foil paper. So the gold foil comes in sheets of 12 by 12. And I've got a piece here. And I'm going to cut that down because I'm just going to need a little tiny bit. So for instance, if I hold this die, I can see it's just about a little bit bigger than an inch. So I'm going to just take off 1.5 inches. I think that'll be plenty big enough for my berry sprigs. Also below I'll be listing some essential tools, which will include this trimmer and the snips and some paper and glue that I think will be very handy for you to have in your craft room. Okay, now we'll get our machine back again. So I'm just going to take my berries and I'll grab these little tiny flower centers and tuck those in there as well. And I think you can see how with some careful placement you have virtually no scrap left over. It always amazes me how little I have to empty out the wastebasket in my craft room, because so much of, just take these out. Now I have my, oops, there it is. I'm going to run this through again because I think I'm going to want more than one of these berry sprigs. So I'm just using my piercing tool to release the foil. And look how beautiful that is. I'll give you a better look at that in just a minute. Let's just keep going with our cutting for now. There we go. And one more. Oop, that moved. Let me just get that back on the foil. I have a magnetic plate under here and it's causing the dies to jump around a little bit. Okay. Alright, now I'm going to pass my flowers through. So I'm just going to use up some of these scraps. Let's see if this big one will fit on here. Not quite. I need a bigger piece for that. Okay. Come back to that one. Get those lined up. And I'm going, since I have the room, I'm going to take some of these little flowers and just send those through as well. And that is gorgeous. All right, we're almost done here. Got my larger piece of paper for the big one. And I've got enough room here for this little one as well. I like to have extra pieces to hand so I don't have to get everything back out again when I'm in the middle of putting things together. And I think I will be wanting to have another sprig of the gold berries. So I'm going to go ahead and pass that through one more time. Just poke this one out. So delicate. You could never cut these things out by hand. I mean, you could, but it would take you all afternoon just to do one. This is such a time saver, and just makes working with these pieces such a pleasure. Okay, I think that does it for that. Let's see what we've got. I'm going to put these dies to the side carefully so I don't lose any. I keep my dies on these magnetic sheets because you can see that some of them are just so darn tiny that it would be very easy. For instance, this one. I mean, this is no bigger than my thumbnail, so I really love, get that one out. Come on. There we go. Yeah, so look, you can see how tiny that is. It's just the same size as my thumbnail. So these magnetic sheets are great for helping to keep everything organized. I really recommend those. And I will actually post that on my, if you go to my website at dandelioncottagedesign.com under shop, you will find a listing for a place that you can get those magnetic sheets. It's called Stampin' Storage. And if you follow the link, it'll take you right to their website. And they've got a lot of other storage solutions as well. So here are all the pieces that I just assembled, that I cut out. So I've got my beautiful little scalloped square. I've got my little piece of DSP with the beautiful stitched edging. Here are my golden berries. These little things are for the centers of the flowers. And then I have a beautiful assortment of flowers here that I'm going to stack together to create my decoration for the box. So the next thing, let me get the box out. I'll show you how that goes together. They're so easy. So all you do is gently fold up the sides, and I just sort of ease them into position because I don't want to push them so hard and fast that it causes the paper to crack. I've never had that happen, but I also don't want it to ever happen. This little thing you can just take right out. And all of the score lines are already on the box. So literally all you do is fold it and put it together. There's no glue, no cutting, nothing. They come in both white and gold. There are 8 to a package, so there's plenty of them. And if you notice, the interior of the box has this kind of shiny surface. These are food safe. So if you're making Christmas cookies this year, or you have chocolate fudge or a little piece of jewelry, this would fit a bracelet very nicely. Anything you can think of. If you're a crafter, you could put some ribbon in here. Okay, ribbon would fit nicely. Give to another crafting buddy. So all you do is bring in the bottom sides, and then this front flap goes over. You hear that? It snaps into place, and that holds that like so. And then these side flaps just tuck in, and there's your beautiful box. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to be putting this on the top. But before I do that, I want to add my ribbon. So let me grab a piece of ribbon. And I'm going to wrap this around the box so that it ties to the side. So let's just see how much I need here. That should do it. And I have a roll of tear and tape here. This is sticky tape. Has sticky on both sides, and you can just tear a piece right off, and I'm going to put that in the lower portion of my box right there. And then I'm going to peel up the backing, and let's find my ends of my ribbon. I want to get them lined up. Okay, and then let's see. I want to make sure I get this in just the right place. Alright, that should do it. Just stick that right down there. Okay, so that's going to hold my ribbon in place so that the person who gets this as a present won't lose their ribbon. Next, I'm going to take my scalloped circle, not circle, square, and put a little line of glue. And I'm not getting too close to the edge because the gold box is not very absorbent, so I don't want the glue to get all over the place. I want to just get it on there, and then I'm going to put it aside for that to dry because it takes longer for the glue to dry on the foil sheets and on the shiny box. So there we go. That looks like it's nice and centered. Alright, so I'm just going to put this aside to dry a little bit, and while that's drying I will assemble my flowers. Now for the flowers I'm going to be using some dimensionals. So let me get my dimensionals out. I'm going to use the mini dimensionals this time. Actually I might need one big one. So starting with my largest set of petals, I'm just going to give that a little bit of a curl, and I'm going to go in both directions. Okay, so I want it, I don't want them all the same, I want them all different. Alright, so there we go. And I'm giving it a little bit of a bend in the center to make it look a little more lifelike. I'm going to do the same thing with the next one. So this is the next larger flower. And I'm just doing exactly the same. Keep going. There we go. If you don't have a bone folder, this is another one of the essential tools I use. I don't think I've ever sat down to do any kind of gluing or paper crafting that I didn't use my bone folder, because not only can you use it to curl the petals like you see me doing here, but for instance if I go back to my lid here, I can burnish that with the edge of my bone folder, and that's going to help to distribute the glue so I have really nice, smooth, even adhesion, and that's important. There we go. Tuck those back in. Okay. Now I'm going to take my paper, put a little bit of glue on there. And this is going to come together really fast now. Get that centered. I really like this paper a lot. This is the 'Tis the Season paper pack of the 6x6. And it has all of my favorite reds and greens. So if you're doing a lot of different Christmas projects and you're looking for an assortment, this is a really good one to have. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and tie my bow now so I can see where that's going to fall on my box. I think I gave myself a little bit too much ribbon, so I'm just going to trim that down. And now I'm going to use my big standard size dimensional. I'm going to put that on the bottom here. And what these do is they just pop the flowers up so that they're in relief from the bottom of the box. And now I'm going to, I want to get this situated so that the petals are not extending too far over the edges. Now I'm going to switch to the mini dimensionals. Here's my next biggest one. Actually, looks like I could put one more standard size dimensional on there. I'm very careful. There we go. And now I'm just kind of staggering that. All right, now here's the third size. Look how pretty that is already, and we're not done yet. Now I've got another one of this smaller one. I'm just going to put this off to the side. And then put some of these little tinies in there. It's raining again outside. The other day we had hail. Today we've got strong weather advisories about wind and rain and possible thunderstorms. Okay. Get these little bits and pieces away. Now I have my beautiful berries. I really like these. For these I'm going to switch to glue dots. So I'm just going to take one of these sprigs, poke that little thing out, and I'm going to adhere that with a glue dot. And I probably don't need this to be quite so long, so I'll remove the little extra and just slip that underneath there and give that a little press. There we go. Do the same thing again. And one more, because you can't have too many golden berries. There we go. Now I still have the centers to put on, so I'm just going to use a glue dot for that. And I don't think I'm going to be needing, these are extra, so I'll save those for another project. I think I'll put one little tiny flower off to the side here. Just have that peeking out. Give Giving that a little bit of a curl. Stuck to my finger. Okay, get that in there. One more layer. You see, I didn't know that I'd want to use these, but it's very handy to have them ready to go, so I'm glad I cut them out. Give that a good press. All right, and then we just have a little more sparkle to add. So here are those gold glitter dots. And I'll grab one of the larger ones. Put that right in there. And then a medium. There we go. And that is our beautiful, very elegant box. Okay, so I think you can see that. I'll get you in a little bit more. There we go. Isn't that beautiful? Okay, and so like I said, you could fit a piece of jewelry in here. It's food safe. It would make a gorgeous box to hold your very special Christmas cookies in, or fudge, or any other kind of Christmas treats you'd like. Okay, so I hope you enjoyed that. And if you'd like to see more, I'm going to have several more days coming up with the 12 days of Christmas. We've got 6 more to go. And remember to subscribe to Notes at dandelioncottagedesign.com if you would like to see my free bonus video on how to paint a chickadee. Also coming up in December, I'm going to be having a box making workshop where I show you how to make a simple box, a reinforced box, and an explosion box. So you won't want to miss that. All of that information is also in Notes. So if you're interested, if you'd like to register, if you would like to see the free bonus video of painting a chickadee in watercolor, you must subscribe, because that's the only way I can get the registration and the information to you. And your information is safe with me. I'm not going to spam you, so don't worry about that. All right, so I'll see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Stay well, be careful, and stay creative.